How should we end the scene, Brian? Sam Elliott or Kiss Lick It Up?
Why not both? Lick it up. Lick it up. Oh, yeah. That's about all I care to read of that.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, that's Lawrence.
No more room in hell. The dead will walk here.
What's up, Horror Fiends? It's your boy, Ricky Grimes, back at you with another episode of Horror Fiend TV presents The Three Corners of Horror. I'm gonna introduce to you El Jefe JR. What up, son?
I don't know, man. Interesting film. Slow cook with barely any meat on the bone.
I apologize for that, JR. Hey, Joe the Psychologist. Yeah. What up, son?
What's up? Yeah, I mean, I was like, well, this is up JR's alley. It's a slow burn. I'm like, shit, I should have put my coffee on. And it was too late by then. But yeah, no, I mean, we'll find out if this bone it's got some meat or if it's all gristle.
It's a GR type movie, but I picked it so he's gonna trash it now. We will be discussing the 2023 film Bones and All, directed by Luca Guadagnino. It stars Taylor Russell as Marin, Timothy Chalamet as Lee, and Mark Rylance as everyone's favorite weirdo, Sully. Right, let's get to the meat of this episode. Joe the Psychologist, I'm gonna start with you first, man, because I'm gonna wait for JR. What you thought about this movie, sir?
I mean, obviously, I think it's gonna be, we'll probably be saying a little bit ad nauseum that it was slow.
Let's just say it right now. All three of us agree it's fucking slow. I don't want to keep hearing that.
All right, so that way, let's not keep
let's
saying
all
that.
cheer for big bottles of beer.
Cheers on
for
that
a
one. We're going to settle
burn.
that it's slow as fuck.
Slow as fuck.
It's like cooking a pernil. That's slow burn.
But at least a pernil when it's done, you're like, oh,
it's good.
No, I mean, listen, it wasn't a bad movie. I think if just they would have edited it down some. Beautifully shot. I mean, if you're not familiar with Luca, he did the Oscar nominated Call Me by Your Name, which had Timothy Chalamet, which he got nominated for an Oscar for that. He also did the remake for Suspira, and that one was also slow and it was long. That one was way much better. I will say that. But if you have seen his movies, you're familiar to his art style. So this is like art horror because it's, and Dario was art horror also. But it was like, I think a little editing and, which we'll discuss later. Like I just wanted just a little bit more. So that's the hard part. It was like such a long movie to have been left for wanting more and getting hardly no answers. And I know that we all sometimes like that, but this seemed kind of like a movie. If I invested 2 hours and 11 minutes of my time, at the end, I want some type of a fucking answer. That's all.
Damn, he counted. Yo, how many seconds is that as well?
Oh, I did not do that math.
This guy knew the minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? If I knew about, because I go in blind. I don't like doing no research. So when I went,
I was happy this was a choice. I'll be honest with you.
Because I heard so much buzz about this film when it dropped, and I'm like, oh my god! So when they became available to stream, I brought it up to you two fine gentlemen. I was like, yo, we gotta put this on the schedule. I've been dying to see this. So, and you guys know, this is not my type of movie. So I was kind of bamboozled. JR, let's go to you, bro. What's up?
We're gonna keep going back, to not having enough meat on the bones because this film did have an interesting concept.
Very,
very interesting. But there were so many plot holes in the film that you're looking to fill in the blanks as you go on and throughout the movie. The characters were interesting. There was this. I agree with Joe. Me and Rick always say all the time. Sometimes being ambiguous is great in horror, but when you have a film that's a slow burn that felt like a coming of age. I told Joe, feels like a coming of age story. Feels like this
kind of was
girl growing up with an interesting twist added to it, which we'll talk about later. But I just felt like they left too many blanks that if they would have removed half of the film where you had these long driving moments where there's this silence, enjoying. I mean, yes, you're enjoying the environment where you could actually add more to the story, add more background. Exactly what was the deal between? We'll talk about this later. The mother, the father, and the fact that you've had this how where they could detect others like them, but it was so ambiguous that you were left to wonder how exactly and what exactly was the reason they were able to do that. But
Yeah.
I mean, overall, it was a very interesting film. I'm not going to say don't watch it,
No, I
but
watch it. I will
definitely
say
watch it.
watch it.
And if you agree with us, what we're going to talk about, definitely comment below. But yeah, this had a lot of room for more meat, but I
Great.
think trying to keep it bare kind of held the movie back a little bit.
Yeah. When this film started and Marin bit the girl's finger, and the way she was biting on it and what she did with it, I was like, damn, that's pretty fucking rough. But we don't get a lot of that after that. Like you said, we get a lot of bits and pieces. Like with her dad, I like this character a lot because he was pretty much giving us her backstory, but they cut it up within sections sprinkled throughout the film. When he was about to say what happened, and all of a sudden, like I forgot, she stopped the tape or the scene cut. I'm like, oh, I hate when fucking movies and TV does that, bro. That is the worst. And
Well, you knew you were getting there.
but to the film's credit, not long after that, when she's on the bus and they start playing the tape, and I do give it credit. I take it back because I did like it. They broke it up in sections. The fact that you said a coming of age film, I wasn't expecting that. So it started with horror, but then the dad waits till she turns 18 to pretty much leave her ass.
I'm out.
I'm
He
out.
said I'm out.
I mean, hey man, I protect you as long as I could, but you're 18. You're
You are
legally
18.
allowed
I'm done.
to live on your own. Peace out. I'm tired of relocating. And he was out. And I don't know. It just every time the film it started to ramp up, it stopped and then it slowed down again. Yeah. But then we get.
And the dad thing, did it give you like for a second? Because I think I messaged JR about this. I'm like, oh no, are we gonna do Let the Right One In? Like, is the dad been like bringing victims? And that's why he was done because I guess there might have been incidents. We were hearing them on the tape, but again, I was just like, so is this? But so when he took off, no, it wasn't exactly like that. But that's what I thought it was going to be like.
Yeah.
That especially after they in the beginning when she bites the girl, she's like, "We gotta go. We got what do you say? 3 hours before the cops get
3
here."
hours. He knows. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why'd you do this again? Why'd you do this again?
Do it again. So I was just like sitting here. I'm like, oh man, don't tell me that the movie's gonna be the dad. Like and then she falls up for the guy, and I was glad it didn't do that, but it was a good little. Like if you're a horror fan and you're watching it, how you can think that's what you're about to see.
But I think when the movie started to get interesting is when we came across the character of Sully. Sully was a bit of a character, either you liked him or you didn't, but that's not really the point of his character. His character was meant to make you uncomfortable and kind of keep you on your toes. You don't know if you could trust him or not. At one point, I trusted him, then I didn't. Well, at one point, I did trust him, then I didn't. I trusted him again, but then no, hold on, let me go back. So you were always kind of like questioning yourself, and I think Marin was going through the same thing, and I don't blame her for being like, oh, I can't stay with this guy because he's a little too friendly, but he seems kind of off. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about Sully. JR, I'm gonna go with you first on this one. So this character, like I said, well acted because
Mark Rylance.
Yeah, I think he kept it borderline. He could have went even more over the top with it, but he still kept it a little bit subtle on like like his character was so out there and the shit he was saying, so let's talk about Sully, GR.
Like I feel like the Sully character was a good character, but at the same time, I felt like he was somewhat wasted in this film because he had the opportunity to. I mean, think about how they met. He goes, hey, I smelled you from all the way over there. Which was one of the plot holes issues I had with this film. How is it they're capable of smelling each other?
We'll get to that.
Yeah. It was later on. But the fact that
I want to talk about that. That's why let's shelve that conversation.
No, we are because
it'll be in this part right here. So
no, because you had the Sully character who basically found her, took her in a little bit, and knew that she needed to eat, knew that she had a hunger. And the thing that made him more interesting is he would go from a regular conversation to talking about himself in third person, which I thought was an interesting aspect of his character. Because when he felt the most uncomfortable, when he felt aggravated, he talked in third person.
He picked up on that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, why do you keep talking in third
Yeah.
person?
Yeah.
He always, but like he wanted, it's almost like he wanted companionship at the same time. I mean, the way it kind of ended with his character, I was disappointed, to be honest. But
Really, I overall, I'll let you talk, but I kind of dug his arc overall. But yeah, let's hear it. Why were you disappointed?
Because the fact is, you had their tie over a course of one day, and I felt like if they would have had her stay with him a little bit more, instead of meeting some of these other characters, like I didn't mind, what's his name, Lee, but I think there should have been a span where they're together. He's trying to show her the ropes a little bit, and then she bails. She should have spent more time with him because he was looking to mentor her. Now, if you had an angle of the story where he's trying to mentor her and he sees her like, it's tough because it's tough the way he envisioned her. Towards the end, you thought it was, he wanted
Companionship.
he wanted a mate.
Yeah.
But at the beginning, it seemed like he wanted like a daughter type,
Yeah.
because he mentioned that later on. But I think if they would have held that a little bit tighter, because there you get more background exactly, we'll get to later, what are they? And you get more meat added to the story. And then you get the whole ending, the fact that she bailed on him. And then he ends up hunting her down because obviously she forgets that he could smell her.
Well, he followed her.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where he was a very interesting character. I would say I liked him a lot more than Lee in this film. I think Sully was a character that was left somewhat untapped. He could have did a little bit more with the character to bring out the primal side of what they really are a little bit more. I mean, remember, what turned her off made her run was when he took out that whole strand of hair
with the flies all on it.
And he's like, look it. You could pull it really hard and it won't break. And then he just puts it back like nothing. Very interesting character, but I do think he should have been used a little bit more to basically add a little background to, what we'll talk about in a few minutes.
I actually really like the character, but as JR said, it was a missed opportunity because I would have liked to seen a span with Marin and Sully together, building a connection that he thought he felt, because that's the weird part, because he felt a connection, but they weren't together long enough to get that connection. So, and there him explaining to her, this is how you can smell. These are the things, because he started teaching her. So I thought it was going to be cool that he was going to be a mentor type. And then, go a little interview with a vampire where now he becomes obsessed with her. And then hence when you see him, because at first, like I trusted him. I thought, here's this old guy, obviously he's been around for a while. One of the first things he tells her is don't eat another eater. So for me, I was like, all right, well, if that's his first rule, then I know I'm going to be okay. So I would have liked to seen a little in all the time we got with the driving around, we could have filled that in with, Sully and Marin building this relationship and her slowly starting to get creeped out. Her instincts coming in saying something is wrong with him. And then she leaves so that way, when he pops up again, because obviously when he popped up again, then I'm like, oh shit. All right. This motherfucker actually doesn't mean good. There's something wrong with him and he wants her or means harm. But I'm in my head going, but he said don't eat another eater. So is it companionship or is it he wants something sexual? We don't know. You know why? Because there was too much ambiguity in the whole entire thing. So it was a waste of an arc with a character. You still got a good arc with him all the way to the end. I liked you knew that was coming, and that was the other unfortunate part of the movie, is that you knew that there was going to be a final confrontation, because Lee and Marin are living this wonderful life, so you knew that Sully was going to pop up and fuck shit up.
I'll be honest, I totally forgot about him. I thought the movie was over.
Really? No.
I thought it was over when they were like together, and Lee opened up about his dad and stuff, and what
Hell no, because when Sully flipped his fucking before he took off and he started calling her, like I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah, but you know what it is? The movie was so long. Well, I can't
I
say.
know.
No, hold on. To be fair, the movie's a little bit. All right, let's say don't count the credits. Let's say 2 hour film, right?
2 hours.
A little over 2 hours. For the regular view, that's not for me. I hate long. Anything over at the 2 mark. There's exceptions, but I don't. I lose interest.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when the movie was about to be over, I'm like, oh my god, okay, it's over. Thank God. Then all of a sudden, it goes into the future arc when they're nice and happy, this and that. I totally forgot about fucking Sully by that point, dude. When Sully first came up, when he first showed him the first time, all I kept thinking was, who this crazy Ralph looking motherfucker? You know? I thought a crazy Ralph was Friday the 13th.
See, and I actually thought for a second the Indian guy in
Orca. That's
I thought Poltergeist.
Oh yeah, that's a good shout. And the fact that when he's talking to Marion, he's got all this blood all over his face after they fed on that woman. I'm like, bro, wash your fucking face.
In his tidy whiteys and his wife beater. I'm like, this is kind of not a cool picture right now. You know, like
no. I was disagreeing with the both of you about the Sully character, but you guys kind of won me over with him being kind of wasted. I think JR mentioned it. He mentioned Lee, and when Lee came really late in this film, honestly, like I forgot he was even in this film at one point. And when he shows up, oh, that's right, there's 2 people in this fucking movie. Because again, I see no trailers, I just see the poster, you know. I said, oh, that's the kid from Dune. But once you mentioned that, I'm like, damn, you know what? I'd rather prefer more Sully over Lee, honestly. But Lee, what I will push back, I did find Lee as a good character, though. I did
too.
I like the story arc. I like the fact that he seemed as a hard case, or like a kid who just he's like an asshole, but he wasn't. He had his reasons for what he did. He protected his sister. It was all for his sister and his family. Are they cannibals or are they fucking monsters? They never really explained it. The fact this whole smelling thing was a little weird, and the fact that they're running across cannibals everywhere they go, essentially. When they run into those 2 weirdos that were at the river, the waterfall, whatever you want to call it, it looked like Brizzy Park, the little waterfall area. So that was Brad, and I forgot the other guy's name, Blake or whatever. That's insignificant. But were those guys? They were cannibals too.
One of them was one of them, whatever they are, and the other one was like basically a follower. He was trying to be like them. That's what he mentioned.
I did like when he said the title, Bones and All.
Yeah, I did like that part.
Fun fact though, Brad, do you know who played Brad? JR, your boy, David Gordon Green. That was Brad, the boy who evil dies tonight. He's responsible for that, so that was
no.
So that was a little cool cameo, whatever, but yeah, that was him.
The other guy who's I can't remember his name had been in one of Luca's other movies, but it's another actor we've seen in many other things. I promise you, it's like one. I think he was even like in Boardwalk Empire, but he got nominated for the last movie that Luca had done. He was one of the other nominators for Call Me by Your Name, but when I saw him in a scary role, I'm glad you brought that up because so much build up for nothing. Yeah,
when those guys came up, I was starting to feel uncomfortable because like, wait, are these guys good guys or are they bad guys? But then like you start talking about, we smelled you, like, oh my god, what is this? The fucking X-Men? As you could tell, I'm not a fan of this whole like keeping us in the dark of what they were, because the fact that they could sense each other, they could smell. That guy smelled them like blocks away. Some people could smell you even further than that. And everywhere, remember when she ran into people, her own mother ate her own hands, essentially. That jump scare, though, guys, I gotta say it. I jumped.
And by the way, that the actress was Chloe Sevigny. So when I read her name in the credits, I'm like, yes, because I love her. She like when she does a role, she commits to a role. And
she committed to this one, though.
Oh, she did, because you saw that obviously she ended up locking herself up. But she was so heavily medicated that she couldn't talk to her. But that's the other part, like, fuck. So she the whole movie is for her finding her mom to again get to her mom, and her mom's gnawed off her own arms because she has no arms, like she's like cut off on the
Yeah,
elbows.
she that's how best she wanted to eat. I don't know.
Yeah, she ate herself, you know, but she's there to get an answer, and mom is so medicated that she's not going to be able to get an answer, and then she gets this letter that really doesn't give a whole lot of fucking information. You know, just that your father failed. I'm like, that's how we're gonna.
This is what I mean. Why can't the letter just okay? This is what you are. This is what I am.
Yes,
come
like
on.
it was like I
that's not-
wanted to know. Like I wanted when she finally got there for her to find out. Like you know, because again, the whole ambiguity in here is just the fact that. So are they cannibals?
Too much ambiguity. Too much.
Is it that? Is there a gene there? You know, because you know, is it like mutants?
Yes.
You know, is it something? You know, is like werewolves? Like how are they like this? And obviously, the mother had it and passed it down to the daughter.
Apparently, like 50% of this movie had it, bro. So every character she ran
a
into
whole lot
had
of
it.
people.
How?
So you know, they like you never got any answers. Sully never gave you any answers. You get to finally to the moment of her seeing her mother, and you get no answers, and then not again. You wasted a great actress. She never spoke. The most that she did was scare the fuck out of you when she jumped at her because she gets to the letter, and I forget right now what she said at the end, and it was great because as she's saying it, she reads that last line, all of a sudden mom comes at her, and you're not expecting that.
That got me. I'm gonna lie.
It did.
That got me.
But
I was like,
that was pretty much
jump scare.
really the only jump scare you got in the whole entire movie.
But what was good about that jump scare, it wasn't in a movie filled with jump scares. It was the only jump scare.
It
So
was.
you're not expecting it.
You're not expect at this point. Yeah, they've let your guard down. I mean, they've almost put you to sleep to wake you up for the end of it.
Go back to the scene with the mom, and this is where I'm gonna do my if I would have did this film remake. The whole time they're reading that letter, they should have had a flashback. That's a perfect time for a flashback in the film because you see the mother when she's young going through all the struggle. Because the last word she said is she left because I didn't want to hurt you, and then she lunges at her.
Yeah. Oh, that was the last time.
I didn't want to hurt you. She lunges at her. So they could have a flashback to explain, just show a little bit what was going on with the mom. Because the thing too is, the dad went through it with the mom, so it was a little questionable whether the dad was part of it or he was stuck with his daughter taking care of her because they continued to jump because the mom left him with the baby. He didn't want to leave the baby. So that's another thing. It's a plot hole.
Well, we know it's hereditary because Lee's father was also one of them.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things though. It's like they could have explained more to it.
Yeah.
And I didn't view them as cannibals. For some reason, I just viewed them as like apex predator type
mutants.
Yeah, something like they need to feed like a lost tribe. They would have did some shit like a lost tribe. All right, that explains.
Wait, hold on. The Lost Boys, the Lost Tribe. That movie sucked. I don't know.
No. I mean, like a lost tribe. Like they belong to this like a lost tribe.
A lost tribe.
They were just spread out to basically, they had to go into hiding and protect themselves because they just happened to stumble upon each other.
Yeah,
which is kind of weird because you smell everybody. You figure, you kind of do more like a connection, more like a community, because you're by yourself. And this is where I agree with you in a way. The lead character was interesting because he had his personal struggles, which he used this thing for killing and attacking people and eating them as a way to calm that anger. But at the same time, he wants to be, you know what I'm saying? You had all these characters that
quick. I want to jump on that real quick. Yeah. You're right, because when Lee opened up about his dad and the fact that he ate his dad, but then he was big balling and I loved it. It was a high. But immediately after that, he broke down.
Yeah.
And so he's not okay with that, obviously. So that gives him
I
layers,
I mean, honestly, hopefully none of you guys are ever okay with having to eat another human being. I think if it gets to that point, I hope you have a moment where you take it in that you just fucking did that.
And just to show you the most frustrating part of this whole thing, you have that climax at the end where they basically kill Sully. She rips I guess his heart or something out of his chest because they didn't really.
I thought it was his intestines.
Well, I'll get to that one.
I mean, they should have showed a little bit more because and then the fact that he got stabbed the whole time. I'm thinking Marin accidentally stabbed him because she's fucking wailing on Sully. because they never showed him.
No, I saw Sully
it was-
stab him.
Yeah,
I
Sully,
saw
yeah,
him.
Sully,
Okay.
so Sully did it.
Yeah,
But
yeah, you
as soon
see
as he
it.
came from
But-
behind, because Sully still had the knife in his hand.
But then he's yelling at her, bone and all, do it.
I was gonna ask you that.
And
So
then
did
they're in
he
the
s- did he
field and
say
he's
that?
hugging her.
So
Yeah.
Lee said bones and all to her?
Bones and all to her.
Wait, as he's dying?
As he's dying, she bites a chunk of him. Next thing you know, they're in a freaking field. And he's holding.
What? Can you explain that?
That's the messed me up. I was like, all right, did he
At-
die? Did you
At
carry
first,
him
I
to the
was
field?
like,
No,
no,
I
okay.
think it was just. I think it flashed back to when they were sitting in the field at the moments when they
Yeah,
I
well,
don't
opened
know.
up.
both topless. Like, what? It's so
Yeah,
random.
yeah,
I know,
it
it was-
just didn't
I
make any
didn't like
sense.
that. That ending
It-
got.
It
I was
reminded
like-
me of it reminded me of 30 Days a Night, where he's infected. She goes out to the field. They stay in there and watch the sunrise. That's what it reminded me.
That was a
But-
better ending. To
Yeah,
the
that
movie.
ending, that ending kicked ass.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I can correlate those.
Oh
two
no, but I'm
together.
just saying, I'm gonna bring you out to the field.
I see
the
what you
last
mean,
place
though,
you
Gio,
have,
but
and I'm just gonna hold you here so you could die.
No, but
Yeah,
no,
That's-
but
but it just doesn't make sense to me.
but that's the whole point. She ate him.
She
She
ate
ate him. She didn't bring him out, dude. I don't know
No,
what
but
the hell that scene was
Even
for.
then, you're like,
This is what I don't like about these. I know Joe likes to direct it, but these art directors get too artsy, fartsy sometimes. Like we didn't need that.
I'm not a huge fan of art house horror.
and you didn't hear nothing on the radio, especially when they killed the guy who was like, "Oh my god, he has kids." You know, like hell, you
Well-
killed a bunch of people, and then you never.
Well,
wondered
no,
what-
I mean because it was at least like basically hitting on the guy, so he
yeah.
wasn't expecting the guy.
Lee,
was married,
Lee saw he was an
and
asshole. You know what? He's an asshole. Fuck him.
He was
So
an asshole,
he
and
went-
he liked guys, so Lee played into that, and turns out that he's
Yo, how
just
did Lee know that? Yo, Joe, is that you guys can smell each other, Joe?
you can smell it.
It's called gaydar, man. I mean, you hear about it. It's called gaydar. Yes, it's a gaydar.
So is it true though, Joe? Is it true, Joe?
Oh yeah.
You can know. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
The gate. All right. Let's close this out. JR, I'm gonna start with you, my brother. Final thoughts and what else you got to say about it before you give us your rating from 1 to 5?
I'm not gonna massacre this film because I know that's what Rick's waiting for. The massacre.
Brother,
I know,
I'm
here's
a
the thing,
massacre
Rick-
more than
Well,
you.
no. Here's the thing. It's a different story. I think Rick agrees so far with everything.
No,
we're
I agree with
saying.
both of you guys. Yeah.
So if he would have loved this movie and we're sitting here destroying it, it would have had a different outcome.
He knows. I would have been
Rick
cutting you off left and right.
knows. Rick probably halfway through, Rick went, "Oh man."
Yeah, I did. I did. I'm like, this is me. I'm watching. I'm watching. I'm like, fuck, this one's on me.
I'm like, he just picked Fright Night for us to do, and then he followed it up with this one. So I'm
Hey,
like,
like I said, I
hey,
went
no,
in blind.
This is,
so-
but this is why we do this, though. Honestly, think about it. We
Hey,
every once in a while, we
Wait,
bring
I'll
up
get to
a
my
movie.
point. I'll get to my point. Yeah, go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
No, for me,
I'm
it's
sorry.
like this movie had massive potential, but they dragged it in areas that shouldn't have been dragged. They wasted the character of Sully. They should have had a flashback with the mom when she was show her why she left in a way.
Yep.
I mean, if you have a scene where she's literally looking at her daughter like she wants to literally pick her up and eat her,
Yeah,
and
oh
then
my
the
God.
dad walks in, what are you doing? And she walks out. Perfect explanation.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
the fact that
That's a good call.
you're going
totally.
around and
I agree.
then, you're like the third, fourth one I smelled this week. I mean, come on, show a little bit of reason.
How many?
why-
So, how?
background.
Again.
yeah,
I'm
'cause
sorry
she
to
thought
cut
she
you off.
was the only one,
Oh
and
my
then all of a sudden, I run into like 2 or 3 people this week.
Well, all along the way in the movie, they
It
kept
should have
running
just
into
been.
people.
It should be Marin,
a couple.
Lee, and Sully. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Not made so many along the way.
No,
Yeah.
because now you're ruining the movie even more by showing that there's more out there, and you're not explaining what are they.
Yeah.
So it was a good concept. That was kind of wasted. It was wasted. Good characters that were wasted. A big missed opportunity in this one. This movie could have been one that would have hit a
Huge.
home run if they would have
Huge.
focused on explaining a little bit of what they were. Like, picture this one scene. Imagine the movie ended with her eating Lee, and in the background, the dad's tape is going off, explaining what they really are.
They are.
Now
Yeah.
you end the
Oh
movie.
man,
Dude.
all right.
No.
JR.
Because then you would have got something. All right, you sat over 2 hours in this movie. Now
Closure.
you got closure. Thank you, Justin.
Closure.
Yes. And for me, I'm gonna give it a 2.5. I would go a little higher, but the fact that is like you guys said, slow burns are my things. But when you have a slow burn that leaves more questions than answers, for me, it's a ruined slow burn.
It feels like a waste of time.
Oh, it does. It's
Joe the psychologist.
All right. I won't be as harsh as Jay. All right. I mean, I didn't hate the movie. Since we're at the end, just the biggest like thing I had was just it was too long, and if I was gonna put this time in, give me more information. So it was like a double-edged sword here, where it was too long and no information here. So I kind of had nowhere to go with this movie, though. I did like the performances. The little gore they threw here and there, I actually appreciated it. I'd like to have seen, all right, so we're watching a movie that has to deal with the fact that you're coming of age and finding out that you're a cannibal. So, and then telling people it's okay for you to do this. Because if you also notice, she never ate first until she ate Lee. So anytime she had eaten before, somebody else had killed. Well, she ate the
girl's fingers in the
She ate the babysitter too when she was a kid.
Yeah,
but she didn't remember that though, but we didn't see that. So with
she's
her,
not a bad person,
right? Yeah, 'cause she's blocked all that out. So with her trying to figure things out, for me, Lee was the first.
I understand, yeah, because when she bit the girl's finger, that was more like an instinct.
Yes.
Like, she's like, oh my god.
It's kind of like
It's like me right now. This would be. I see this fucking Voodoo Ranger, fucking 1985. This is Marin.
Actually, I meant to tell you. Never mind.
Oh damn, that finger! Oh my, that's a figure! Oh my god, I'm so sorry. That's Marin.
For me, when she ate Lee, was her.
She ate Lee.
Her the comeuppance or the her just accepting who she is, and this is where we're at. I would have liked to have seen her eat it, bones and all. And it was just all around, just a lot of the plot holes, not filling us in on things. The movie had so much potential. I know I'm not a huge fan of art house horror for the dragging it out and also with a lot of never answers. That's the one thing with art house horror.
Yeah.
So slow burners aren't necessarily art house. So that's why I'm not saying like this is a slow burner like the slow burners that we all see. I'm actually gonna give it a 3.5 because I did like Sully. I like the performance from Marin. I like the father. The tapes throughout the movie slowly giving you an explanation to who she is, and her at the end, the person that she now fell in love with, having to fucking eat them bones and all for her to basically become like the werewolf, what have you, it wasn't bad, but again, it was so much exposition, so dragged out that it just deterred from what would have been a great movie.
The scene where JR mentioned when Sully got punctured many times with a knife by Marin, they drag him into the tub, and then he's still alive, and he rips the fucking plug. He rips it, and Marin rips into his wound and pulls out some organ.
I thought it were intestines.
I'm like, oh man, see the film pussied out because I guarantee you she pulled out a bunch of shit and she ate it. You know why? Because she was clean faced, and all of a sudden she had blood all over her face. So I'm assuming she went and ate, and
she ate an eater.
But they cut it. You know why? You know why? No, I'm not. It's not because it was too gory. Because at the end of the film, not too far after this, she told Lee, "No, I don't want to eat him." And Lee's like, "No, me, eat me." Remember that?
Yeah.
So they're, oh my god, that's gonna contradict ourselves if she already fucking ate into him. So let's cut that out of the movie. So when she grabbed it and it just cut and he's dead already, and all of a sudden she's clean face. Next shot, blood all over her face. I'm like, what a sloppy edit. Lee's sister, Kayla, that's her name.
Mm-hmm.
Her hair, I knew it immediately because it was the only blonde hair that was in there with the little, bow. I'm like, oh no, he got Lee's sister. And then when Lee saw that, that's when Lee lost hope. You know what? I'm fuck it. I don't care. Just kill me, die, eat me, whatever.
That's the only thing he had lived for.
Remember that he said he wanted to kill himself. He did not because of his sister. And the fact that this motherfucker ate his sister, he couldn't live with that. So I did like that. But then when he dies, eat me, bones, and all of a sudden, I thought, oh my god, she's gonna go in. This is the climax. Okay, good shit. Then they cut it. Before they cut it, though, she's like I said she's kissing his wound, and then all of a sudden they're both topless, and she's holding him and like,
Yeah, I will say one of the other funny part was that when I realized how long it was, I'm like, fuck, JR normally picks the long movies.
I didn't look at the time. I didn't look at the time.
And I was
I'm
like,
texting Joe. I'm like, Joe,
JR sends me a message going, it's 2 hours 11 minutes.
When he,
started
I got that
laughing.
message, and I was like, "Oh!"
I started
fuck.
laughing.
What did I do?
What was
Because
it?
I'm like, Rick is an hour and a half movie person.
Listen,
So,
there's
no, I
only
mean,
one movie that's a horror film that's over 2 hours that I could fucking watch ad nauseum, and that's Terrifier 2. And even that film, I criticized for being too fucking long. The performances by the two leads were really good.
Yeah.
And Sully was really good. I enjoyed the dad. It was well shot. You mentioned it's an art house film. I didn't, again going in, I did not know that. It's weird because the movie had a good score, but then they'll give you some of that fucking cheesy ass like coming of age. But they had to lick it up, lick it up, lick it up. Oh yeah, I love Kiss. So when I saw that, I'm like, oh shit, okay. So I don't know, 3.5 for me too, only because it's a well-made film. Because it's not made for me, I don't want to trash it. My name is Ricky fucking Grimes, JR, aka Junior the Jefe, and Joe the Psychologist. Yeah! We are the three corners of horror. Stay good, stay safe, stay healthy. Most of all, motherfuckers, stay scared.